Hello, Brady Kelly here with Get Tech Savvy at gettechsavvynow.com. Today we're going to talk about web hosts and websites and domains. Oh my. Anyways, we're going to talk about how all this fits together just in case you do not understand it. I'll just do a quick basic overview of what it is so that you can understand what it is that you really need and what you don't need. So that's the deal I'm going to make with you right now. Okay, so to start off, what is a web host? A web host, you can think of this in the internet world as like a plot of land. This is a place where you can go and build a website. You can go and build something. So there's a lot of different places that you can do that. There's lots and lots of web hosts out there that will host your site for you. In fact, there's people who build their own places to make websites just out of their homes. And those are actually stored on what's called a server. And this is actually a picture of a huge server room with thousands of servers in it. So servers are where websites are housed, and they hold all the information needed to display a web page. So when you are signing up for a web host, you are actually reserving some spot on a server with that web host. And they're going to store all of your files and folders for you. All the things that your website needs is going to be stored on this server. Okay, so that's what a web host is, and they provide all that fun stuff for you. So a website is, if you want to think of it more like the land, how a web host was the land. Well, what is a website? Website you can think of as the actual building on the land. So here I have a picture of this house being built. Your website is what people see. It actually has a spot on those servers. It takes up room, and that is in the form of files and folders. So whenever you upload a picture or create a web page or type in some content on your blog, it is stored in a folder as a file. And when you actually view a web page or a website, the browser that you're using, so if you're using Google Chrome, if you're using Internet Explorer or Firefox or any Safari, those are actually interpreting the files and folders, basically organizing them in a way for you to see visually that website. So I'm not going to go into too much technical detail about how that works, but that's all they are, is a bunch of files and a bunch of folders on a server that hold all the information needed for a browser to display your web page. Okay, so that's what a website is. Now, what is a domain? A domain is basically just an address. If you can think of an address on our house there, that's basically what a domain is on the internet. It's just a website address. It's a website address that allows you to find that specific web page or that specific place. So, real quick, remember there is a web host, and it's hosting. That's why it's called a web host. It's hosting your website that has a specific address tied to it. Now, the cool thing about domains is you can actually buy domains. You can buy custom domains. So you can have, for example, I got gettechsavvynow.com as the domain of my website. And so you can actually go buy customized domains, and there's entire companies based around selling and hosting domains. They actually call them domain registrars and things like that. So anyways, so you can think of domains as addresses. Okay. Now, I want to talk to you about free versus paid hosting. And so free hosting, the thing about free hosting is obviously there's no cost involved. Free hosting is if somebody has a server out there they're willing to let you just place all your files on, and they're going to host it for free with no cost to you. Usually there's a website builder involved, a really easy website builder involved that allows you to quickly build a page, and just very basic. It's very, very basic. It's usually pretty user-friendly, so that people without knowing how to code or build web pages can do it really quickly and really easily. And they're also very limited. So I actually messed up on my slide here. These were supposed to be you weren't supposed to be able to see these at first. They're supposed to appear right now. Anyways, these are a few websites that allow for free hosting. So Wix.com is a very popular one now. It allows you to have a cool Flash website. They look really pretty and very nice and professional, but again, they're very limited. You can't customize your domain. You can't. I know that Wix and probably Weebly do post ads on your website. So you are going to have ads that you have no control over that are going to be posted on your website, so you never know. Usually they're only for their website alone, but I've seen some free hosting that actually just posts a bunch of Google ads on your website, which is not cool. If it's, especially if the ad, you have no control over the ad, you never know what kind of ad is going to be on there. It may be completely contrary to your message. So you got to be careful with some of those free websites. Free hosting I recommend to people if they're just barely getting started and they just want to play around with a website and a look. The problem with these free hosting sites, as I said earlier, they're very limited. Once you start to get anywhere with your website, like if you want to start creating, you want to start selling products, if you want to start, expanding and embedding video and opt-in forms and things like that, some of these free hosting services will allow you to do that. But again, it's very limited, and you never know. It's from service to service. It could be completely different. One thing to note: WordPress.com is a free blogging platform. Google has one as well called Blogger, and so don't get that confused with WordPress on a paid hosting service, which I'm going to talk about next. There's two different types of WordPresses, and in fact, I have a video that goes over the difference between free WordPress and paid self-hosted WordPress. Okay, so free hosting is great for people just getting started out, probably just to test out their website, to just get familiar with being able to use all the different tools out there to get their website up and whatnot. That's really good. Now when it comes to paid hosting, obviously there's a monthly cost, and usually you actually pay like all 12 months in advance. If you're going to pay for a year, you can actually pay for up to like 36 months in advance for some services. So usually you just have a one-time pay and then just renew that every year. But they break it down to the monthly cost, obviously, to make it look nice on the web page when they're advertising. So there is a monthly cost, so it is going to cost you, but it's usually pretty affordable. The highest quality web host, and I recommend getting a quality web host if you're serious about setting up a website, will cost about $80, $85 a month, or I'm sorry, $85 a year. Yeah, that would be really crazy, $85 a month. So about $80 to $100 a year. A good web host will cost, and that's really decent. That's really decent. Usually there isn't a website builder. Some of them will have one, but usually there isn't. If they do, it's kind of hard to find. I'll say that much. However, there are some. Usually they do have like one-click installs for user-friendly website builders. So, for example, WordPress is very easy to install on most web hosts. It takes only seriously 15 seconds to install, and they have the self-installers on there that you can get to and easily install those. And then really you really need to be tech savvy. You really need to understand how to get around the back end of a paid hosting site so you don't mess things up. You really got to understand what's going on and how websites are set up, how they're organized and things like that, at least to some point, so that you don't mess it up, because you really can. You can really bring down your entire site if you mess up a few settings. So usually paid hosting is for people who understand how to build a website already and how it all works out, and also for if you want somebody to come in and build one for you, you need to have a paid host. Because like I said earlier, in free hosting, you hire a web designer, he's not going to be able to do anything for you on a free hosting site. They lock down things so well, and they only host what they're willing to host. It's pretty limited, and you go over that, they're going to start charging you premiums to do it. So, yeah, that's basically the thing that you need to understand. It is highly customizable. Obviously, if you're going to hire a professional web designer, they can easily customize and do basically whatever they want to, because most paid hosting sites will have all the functionality that you need to create whatever kind of website you need. And so that's definitely something to keep in mind. So the difference between free and paid hosting, who I recommend it to. For free hosting, I'd say if you're just barely getting in and you don't even know if it's really going to take off, you really don't know if you're really going to pursue that, then go to a free hosting and play around with it, see how you like it, test it out for a little while, test out some ideas. But then if you ever get serious about having a real website where you're going to build a list of followers, whether it be a blog or a website that offers your services that has an opt-in form on it, get a paid host. You're going to have the customization that you need to be able to make the site that you need. And you're not going to be limited. You can have your own domain, and in fact, paid hosting services can have, usually most of them can have unlimited domains. You can have as many domains as you want. So for example, I have 7 different domains on my web host right now. And so I have 7 different websites. 7 different websites with all their unique domains on one web host, and I still pay the same amount every year. I don't have to pay more for more domains that I bring there. Obviously, there is a charge for just having a domain every year that's renewed. So domains usually cost around $10 to $15 to have per year. So that's something to keep in mind. So if you have like 7 domains like me, then that's 7 times $12 that it's costing me per year to have those domains, regardless if I have a web host or not. Okay, so that's just to reserve the name for me. That's something to keep in mind. Okay, so hopefully this was helpful. Just remember, web host is like land, where you're going to build your website. Website is the actual physical building part. At least obviously this is all on the internet. None of it's really physical except for the server that houses all this stuff, the computer. And then the domain is the actual address for your website. And you can transfer, so if you go and buy a domain somewhere else, you can usually transfer it to your web host just fine. So there's plenty of ways to transfer that and to host that domain somewhere else on your web host and set up a website underneath it. So hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, you can email me at admin@gettechsavvynow.com. I recommend you go to my website, gettechsavvynow.com, where we will basically be teaching you all sorts of cool stuff to get you tech savvy. So if you're a do-it-yourself person or just really trying to figure things out yourself and get going on your own, you're low budget, then go to this website. There's plenty of cool how-to trainings on to get you started and to get you underway. And really you can build some really spectacular stuff with the trainings that I'm providing. So once again, this is Brady Kelly with Get Tech Savvy at gettechsavvynow.com.